for its docking, flying 261 statute miles above the South Pacific, about to begin a southwest and northeasterly track that will carry the complex into an orbital sunrise a few minutes from now. Here in the flight control room, the visiting vehicle officer, Heidi Paris, reports that the Progress has completed another in a series of so-called impulse burns of its thrusters. These are small, fine-tuning maneuvers to further craft its path toward the International Space Station, and a docking that is scheduled about 28.5 minutes from now. In the Zvezda service module, Sarayev and Samokhutyaev will be conducting one final test of that Toru system, the telerobotically operated rendezvous unit that is the joystick panel at a control panel in the Zvezda service module that they are manning in the unlikely event that a problem would occur with the Corps' automated rendezvous system on Progress.
The hand controllers are fixed in place, and we're going to be performing rotation hand controller test at this time. Copy. Deflect all the way. To the left. All 4 LEDs are on. Neutral. To the right. Same. Up. 4 LEDs. Neutral. LEDs no longer lit. Down. Same. Counterclockwise. All 4 LEDs are on. And clockwise, all 4 LEDs are on. Back to neutral, LEDs no longer on. Rotation hand controller test complete. Copy. Please perform translation hand controller test. Copy. To the left, deflecting.
Again, you're hearing the translation of conversations between the Russian flight control team at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov. You're looking at a live view from a balcony camera overlooking this large flight control room just outside of Moscow as they talk to Sarayev and Samokhutyaev, testing out the telerobotically operated rendezvous unit.
Plaza grade, same. 4 LEDs. After going back to neutral, all LEDs are off. Translation hand controller test is complete. No issues to report. Everything's nominal. Copy. Please switch POBBS to initial. Copy and work. POBBS to initial. All LEDs are on. 2 central and 2 LEDs are on the left are on, and hand controller test is complete successfully. Copy. Go to page 22, Max.
We should be reacquiring our downlink television signal from the International Space Station a short time from now.
In work, page 22. Right now we're at 1 kilometer.
The crew now reports that the Toru test is complete and good. So Toru, the telerobotically operated rendezvous unit, the manual docking system on the International Space Station, is in a hot backup mode in the unlikely event it would be needed here in the next few minutes prior to Progress's docking to the Pirs docking compartment.
Right now 1 kilometer, 100 meters. Closing at 3.8. No fault messages at this kilometer, 100 meters.
Why is there no view from the Progress or from the station? That's what pissed me off right now.
The so-called impulse burns, these small fine-tuning burns of the thrusters now being conducted as the Progress resupply craft approaches 1 kilometer away from the International Space Station.
The station is at the center. It's not that well lit, but we can tell that its outline is in the center. Now we're at 1 kilometer, 2.9 range rate. No fault messages displayed. And we still don't have the video downlink, so please continue to provide commentary. Max.
Так, Максим, появилось у нас телевидение.
Oh, and Max, we have the video back. Copy that.
There we go.
We have 700.
And there's our first view of the International Space Station from a engineering television.
Copy that. We have 700.
And there's our first view of the International Space Station from a engineering television camera mounted on the Progress 57 craft. In the lower left-hand corner of this engineering display, you can see the number of meters now that the Progress is away from the station, 860 and 855, and slowly decreasing as it closes in on the station. And the bottom value is the rate of closure, now at about 3.1 meters per second. That rate of closure will slow to a glacial 1/10 of a meter per second at the time of contact and capture to the Piers docking compartment.
Because that's the speed I always go at, so at least I do that wrong.
You can use AGC mode.
Для улучшения качества изображения.
In order to improve the image. Copy. Ready to send the operation command and use AGC mode after that.
Принято.
How copy? We copy.
Включаю работу.
Operation mode.
Принято.
Copy mode.
Oh!
22 страница.
And you're on page 22?
I can see the ATV.
We're about 3 minutes away from the start of the fly-around by the Progress of the International Space Station. That will begin when the Progress is closed to a distance of about 400 meters from the International Outpost. That fly-around will be at an angle of 61.5 degrees relative to the station, enabling the Progress to align itself and its forward docking probe to the Piers docking compartment. Its forward docking probe to the Piers docking compartment, which again is on the Earth-facing side of the Russian coast. That fly-around will be at an angle of 61.5 degrees relative to the station, enabling the Progress to align itself and its forward docking probe to the Piers docking compartment, which again is on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Outpost.
Keep checking into it.
I'm trying to figure out which way the space station is oriented, and it's not easy.
Moscow, we're gonna leave it at this. Copy, Max. That's fine. And we'll disable.
It's not easy to figure out which way the station's rotated.
Concur, Max.
You know, it could be rotated.
Less than
Like, I
6 hours ago, this resupply craft was on the launch pad on a chilly day in Baikonur. The temperatures at launch time about 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That launch into a cloudless sky was spectacular, and the ascent and delivery of the Progress into orbit a flawless operation.
Oh,
There's
okay.
our first view of the Progress craft. At the time of
Hi, Progress!
the International Space Station was more than 1,200 statute miles ahead of the Progress craft, and there it is closing in for its docking to the International Space Station 21 minutes from now.
Okay, now I'm trying to figure out the orientation. Yep, this is the bottom. I saw Leonardo, so... Unfortunately, it won't be that easy soon enough, because next year they'll be moving to Leonardo. Yes, they will be. I know this. Shut up.
Having flown into an orbital sunrise, the Progress moving in toward its port of call, which is the Piers docking compartment, where it will spend the next 6 months.
You can see me.
Two Piers.
That's what I was like.
Moving from
You can't see me, I'm hiding.
Orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator, soon to cross the west coast of South America, directly over Quito, Ecuador.
Quito. Quito. I don't trust him, so I'm going to check myself. That's what I am. Okay.
For some VCTV troubleshooting.
Moscow Station. We're at 415 meters. 1.4 meters per second closing rate. And no fault messages.